All right. So second section, Wednesdays. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me a few minutes early for the warm-ups. So now we're all ready to go. And we're just going to practice one time on everything that we've been working on before we get to everyone's great questions, okay? All right. So we're going to start our cross hands, and then we're going to go all the way through to repulse monkey, okay? So let's take that relaxed feeling, that breathing that we were doing through our warm-ups into our form, okay? So finding our shoulder width stance, maybe looking down to check our feet, right arm on the outside, lifting up. Just focus on your breathing and relax this time, okay? We're gonna shift our weight and turn for embrace the tiger. Separate the arms, step out, open up, and show striking. Roll back, connect out in front, and then turning. Circle in, touch the forearm for press. Open up the arms. We're gonna pull them back, sit them up, and then push out. Transition to fist under elbow. Flatten the arms. Left arm opens first, just like single whip, until we push out to the side. We're going to step, ward off, rotate, re-step, making a fist, lifting up, fist under elbow. Repulse monkey. Circle the arms, step back, one arm forward, one back. Circle, right arm, palm faces up, step, rotate on the heel as you push back. And number 3, circle, step, open up, and show striking. How did we do? Take a moment, look down at your stance. Are we one line, two sides? Do we feel like our shoulders were relaxed? And our head should be looking forward. Okay, nice. All right, so how did everyone's practice go this week? Do we feel a little bit more stable in repulse monkeys? It's one of the only times we see the backwards footwork, okay? So I'm really happy that we spent the extra class on it and got going. So does anyone have any questions or comments from their practice this week? Somebody had a question earlier. No? Okay, we're professionals then. All right. So today we're gonna talk about diagonal flying. So diagonal flying is one of the harder movements in the form in regards to the footwork. Okay. We've seen the circling of arms through white crane spreads its wing in the first section. And we're actually going to see this footwork again when we get into the third section. So we want to spend a little bit of time getting comfortable with this open stance. Did anybody sit and do the butterfly stretch that I showed you last week? Work on your hips a little bit? Yes. Okay, good. Did it feel like it changed as the week went on? Was it like really tight when you first did it and then maybe got a little bit easier? That's a good answer. It takes a long time to open up our joints, okay? It's taken us how many years to get to the point that we are at today? So it's gonna take years to reopen the joints, okay? So if you do a little bit every day, it's gonna make a big difference, okay? So last week I demoed diagonal flying. So I'm gonna do the same again. And then we're gonna talk about the footwork first because there's 2 different transitions that we can do, okay? So just to show you one time, I'm gonna change the direction of this because it's easier to see the arm movements if I go the opposite direction, okay? So we start at repulse monkey, and this is just a demonstration. If you feel like you wanna do it with me, feel free. Otherwise, just watch because we're gonna break it down. So we're gonna circle the arms, we're gonna pick up our foot, and we're gonna step out, open up, and then we're turning the body as we move into our bow stance. Okay, so our arm is up, and our palm is in front of our hip, okay? So how do you feel after you see the movement?
Looks good.
How many people are new to this movement? This is going to be your first time doing this. Just quick raise of hands. Okay, that's great. Okay, do not feel discouraged with this movement. We're going to show you quite a few variations. Okay, so let's talk about the footwork first. If you can notice, I have these lovely lines on my floor. It's kind of like a partial X for what you see, but there's a reason for that. Okay, so when we're doing Tai Chi, we're talking about corner direction. We're talking about straight. Now that's all relative to your body. So if you notice, I'm standing in the center here. Well, kind of the center, but you see the directions. If I turn my foot 45 degrees, it's going to line up with this line, and then I would step out straight, okay? So this is what we need. Corner direction is relative to where you are, okay? So straight is here, and then it's 45 degrees off of that. So when we do this movement, our back foot is 45 degrees, and our front foot is straight. We're gonna pick up our front foot. We're gonna bring it into center. Now, as we do this, our knee on our left leg remains in line with the toe direction. We're gonna extend back, touch, open up our other foot to the corner direction. Now our weight's in our left leg, but we're gonna move our weight forward and rotate off that back foot. Okay, so this is where having the quad or the hips open is going to help, okay? But again, we have another variation. So if you're doing the normal one, come into your empty stance with your right foot forward, move your weight back, pick up your foot, step behind you, open that foot to the corner direction, and then rotate on your left heel as you come into a bow stance. Okay? Now that is more challenging. Okay? That's going to take time. Now, if you feel any sort of pain or discomfort in your knees, I'd like you to do this variation that I'm going to show you. Okay? So let's all start from our empty stance again. Our left foot is corner, our right foot is straight, weights on the heel. We're gonna pick up that foot. We're gonna step just behind us, kind of like repulse monkey. We're gonna move our weight and turn our left foot to straight. We're then gonna shift our weight into that left leg, and we're gonna pick up the right foot and step to the corner direction, and then move our weight forward, okay? So let's do that again. So our left foot is corner, our right foot is straight. We're gonna pick up our right foot, we're gonna step behind us, move our weight to the right, turn our left foot to straight, shift our weight back to the left, step out to the corner direction, and then shift into a normal bow stance. Now take a look down at your feet. How did you do? Does it feel like a normal shoulder width bow stance? So if we straightened our foot and brought it forward, do we still have shoulder width? Good. I'm gonna tilt the screen down just a little bit. I feel like you might not be able to see my feet the whole time. It's a game here with the camera since I have to move it. Okay. How do we feel about the footwork? Okay, let's go over it again. Yes, this footwork is extremely difficult, okay? Now, if you're doing the variation, I'm gonna say it again. If you're doing the full version and you feel any pain or discomfort, please come back to the variation and work up to it, okay? So let's do it again. The footwork is key to Tai Chi, right? So we're gonna have one foot on the corner direction. Our right foot is straight in front of us. Choose whichever one. If you wanna do the full version, feel free, okay? I'm gonna do the variation. So we're gonna pick up the foot, we're gonna step behind us to the corner, we're gonna shift our weight and turn our left foot to straight. We're then gonna shift our weight to the left so we can pick up and step out to the corner for a standard bow stance. Okay, let's do it again. Let's really drill this one in. This one's pretty hard, okay? So nice empty stance, left foot's to the corner, right foot straight. Move your weight into your left leg, pick up. Step back, shift your weight to the right leg, turn your left foot to straight. Shift your weight to the left, pick up your right foot, step out, and then move your weight forward. Okay, was that a little bit better this time?
Cheryl, could you do the move without the half steps? Without the...
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, let's do it. So left foot's corner direction, right foot straight. If you'd like to do the variation, feel free. We're gonna move back our weight. We're gonna pick up our foot, draw it to the center, then step out, open up your hips. Moving our weight, we're gonna turn on our left heel. Okay, let's do that one again. Starting in a nice empty stance, left foot corner, right foot straight.
And can you speak of where your balance is at each point? Because mine gets a little mixed up. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Mary. Okay. All right, so our weight, 70-30, right? We're gonna shift all of our weight to our left leg so that we can pick up. We're in the center. We're actually leaning forward a little bit as we touch and then open up. Our weight's still in our left leg here. And then we're gonna shift our weight as we turn our waist and push off of our heel. Did that help, Marion?
Well, the part that I get that's hard for me to do is to actually shift from my left, I mean, to have the weight on my left heel or in the middle and yet be pushing with my left heel, so I'm moving forward. So I end up basically shifting the weight from the center forward rather than using my leg to push myself.
Using your leg, okay.
I seem to like not have the I don't know, the balance for that.
It's your quad too, right? So
Okay.
if our legs are more open, if we have the ability, we're actually like on one line with our legs open. So if I did it, let's see. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna start facing you, okay? So you can see the other line this direction. So my foot's parallel to that line and I'm stepping out in front. Now you can't see my front foot, but that's okay because I'm just gonna pick it up and I'm gonna come to center, okay? See, I'm over the center now. What happens is I extend back and open up. Now this is the part where you really have to have, can you see how my knee isn't like this, it's like this? Can you see the difference of having the knee not in line versus in line? Because as soon as it goes out of line, you're gonna feel pulling in your ligaments right here in the knee, and that we don't want, okay? So this is it requires a lot of balance because we're in this awkward stance, right? Where we're on almost one line. My right foot is technically a little bit behind my left foot so that when I rotate it, it comes and I'm shoulder width. So this takes a lot of balance and it takes a lot of flexibility in the inner thighs, okay? In the hip joints here. This is where all of that sitting that we do is gonna hurt our body, and we wanna work on opening this up, okay? So the key is when we're here, we're shifting that weight, but I'm turning and it's like I get a little bit of weight in this leg and then I'm really pushing. My toes come off the ground and I'm pushing into it. Okay, so just to show you continuously, we're in an empty stance. I pick up, come to center. I step behind me and out to the corner and then immediately turn and rotate. So I showed you with a giant pause for a reason, because it's that split second that is the most challenging part of that entire movement. Okay, and that's why we have the variation, because we need to work on our hip flexibility. Okay, all of this sitting that we do in our chairs causes these muscles and tendons and ligaments to become very tight. Okay, so even just doing a basic holding of the knee, holding of the foot, and stretching out the quad here can help your movement. Doing that butterfly stretch that we were talking about will help this movement. I'm in physical therapy for my knee. A lot of you who have been with me have known that I injured my knee 8 months ago. Okay, I'm now in physical therapy. I'm gonna be fine, but I'm bringing this up because I have weak knees at the moment. And Kelly and I were talking about this before class, and she's like, this is gonna give you an insight into what everyone else is experiencing. And she's absolutely correct, okay? The movements that I'm doing for physical therapy are the basic movements that I'm telling you. These are things that are a great challenge for me at this moment and only take about 5 or 10 minutes a day to practice, but will greatly improve your form, okay? So doing that simple quad stretch or that butterfly stretch for a few minutes, 30 seconds even, like literally 30 seconds on each leg, a minute in a butterfly will help everything, okay? So Marion, I know I went off, but does that help answer your question?
It does help. And I have like 2 things that I've run into. One is that when I didn't realize that my knees were kind of like caving in, although I was trying to open up my hips. And the other thing is that sometimes when I'm actually that wide or that open, I feel unbalanced, like I could just tip over front or back. And I'm wondering, is that because I'm too far, my legs are too wide apart? Or, I mean, should I lower my gravity from the center of my
lowering your gravity will help, but there's a split second there where your foot is actually behind. Because what happens is it has to be behind it, so when you rotate the other foot, you have that shoulder width stance.
Yeah.
So there's and it's the same thing in Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. Do you feel it there too?
Yeah, I've done a lot better with that. It's not quite, I don't know, it's not as extreme. Maybe I'm not doing it right.
No, it's not as extreme.
Maybe
because
that's the answer.
Because with Fair Lady Works at Shuttle, the foot's a little bit forward. It's a different thing, because what happens is your one foot straight in the other corner. Here we're corner to corner, so it's a more open feeling, okay? And it'll get easier, and it really will. The more you do this movement, the more your hips open, it will get easier and easier. I promise. It's just practice. Tai Chi is just practice. It's a lifelong journey. Okay. Any other questions? I'm going to go over the footwork again.
Now, I have a question about the torso. It seems to me that you were, in your seated stool position, a little forward with your torso to relax the hip flexor psoas. And I think that really helped me to open up a little bit. Do you ever have your torso in this movement even going straight up, I guess? Or is it always a little bit?
It's a great point, John. That's something I actually have not discussed and will help with balance, okay? So I'm just gonna do it again so that you guys can see. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit closer this time. So we're always talking about relaxing the waist and sitting and folding from our front hips, okay? So as we do this movement, I have to move my weight back, but I'm not sitting up here. I'm still sitting forward. When I pick up my foot, I have a lean here. Can you see the angle? So I'm not sitting upright. I'm actually slightly leaned forward. And even as I open up here, I'm not sitting straight. As soon as I did sit up straight like this, I felt a pull in my knee, to be completely honest. And then as I do this, I'm still keeping that leaning movement as I turn. So it's not like I'm sitting up here and then I'm going to turn and lean into it. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
So I have a lean here and I'm continuing with that lean.
Yeah.
It's not a straight and then lean into it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Does that help you, Marion? Because that was a great point, John.
Yeah, good
Good.
point,
Good, good,
John.
good.
Okay, let's talk about the arm movements. So the arm movements are 2 circles. So we're in repulse monkey. Now, let's see. I'm gonna go this direction just a little bit. Oh, it's so hard with the camera. Okay, what happens is our right arm comes out to the side, left arm goes out. We make 2 circles. And it will kind of feel like white crane spreads its wings. Beautiful. Now from here, we're gonna show striking with our forearm. So we're turning our body, our palm passes over our forearm, and we end up one nice line, and our left hand comes in front of our hip. So we never wanna have too much bend here. We wanna make one nice line. Beautiful. Okay, so again, we're in repulse monkey. We circle our arms. Kind of feels like white crane. And then we open up and show striking. That looks good. That looks really good. Okay, so now the fun part, right? Do you feel okay with the arm movements? Because from what I saw, it actually looks really, really good. Yes, Veronica, yes. Okay, so to put it all together, it's the same arm movements, but it's a little bit different from the full variation to the modified variation, okay? So when we're in repulse monkey, as we shift our weight back, we start circling our arms. Our waist is turning, we step out and we open up. And then as we start our striking, that's when we're turning our waist and pushing off our heel. Okay, let's do that again. So from repulse monkey, arms open out to the sides, we circle, we step as they close, we turn, and then waist is turning as we push off the heel and open the arms. Now here, check your position. Our right arm should be in line with our leg, okay? So we don't want to have our arm off of our leg position. So it should be in line. And we want to make sure that our back is rounded. And it's kind of like a brush knee feeling in a way. Our palm is sitting down. And our tiger's mouth, this portion of our hand, is actually pointing somewhat towards our forearm. Good. Okay, how did we feel about the full version? We're going to go over the modified one in just a moment. Any questions on the full? Okay. All right, let's do the modified. So the arms are exactly the same, but there's a little pause with the arms in this one, okay? So we're in repulse monkey, our third one. We're going to circle our arms. We're going to step back, and we're going to turn our left foot. Our arms stay in this position as we shift our weight back and we step out, and then we show our striking. Okay? So something I have not mentioned yet and is very important here is as we do this movement, we're looking over our right palm. We're actually going to pick up and circle, step back, and we're looking kind of where our right arm is. And then we step out, look, and show striking. Okay, so let's do the full variation if you feel comfortable with it. If you'd like, do the modified. So from repulse monkey, we're circling, we're picking up, we're looking at our right arm, And then as we turn and rotate, we look towards our striking arm.
Yeah.
Now everyone check. How's our bow stance? How's our arm and our hand? How do we do?
So when do you start looking over your left arm?
So you're looking here. Maybe if I do it this direction. So we're looking over our palm. I start opening up. I'm then going to look. And then as I open up, I'm following.
Can you talk about the strike and the look? You know what?
So
What are you doing when you
Yeah.
look and you strike?
So this is a movement where we're grabbing someone's arm and we're pulling down and we're actually striking to their side body. So if your arm was pulled out to the side, then you expose all of this nice soft body to strike, okay? This isn't very protected, right? There's not a lot of muscle to the ribs, so that's where we're striking. So what happens is someone's coming from the other direction. So you kind of connect out and you grab the other arm and then pull them into the strike. Now, when you do this in a martial arts application, you're not going to come all the way like this. It might be here, and that's your finished position, right? Because this is a large frame form, so we're doing full movements. Veronica, that looks really good, really good. But when we're doing martial arts applications, there's going to be a point where you hit someone's body and you can't go any further, okay? So the whole thing of this circle is you could connect to someone here. This is where I wish I had another person. You could connect, and what happens is you take their arm and you circle it down and you re-grab it with this arm. And then you pull and you strike. So that's why we're looking over here, because as I'm looking in this direction, I can still see all of this. And then we always want to follow our striking arm. So like in brush knee, we look back and then we look forward and then we're looking towards our striking arm. Same with repulse monkey, but we stay forward and we're just looking the whole time. Or fist under elbow. We look and we look and we look, right? So always think about your gaze in terms of the martial arts aspect of it. What is the striking arm? What is the striking position? Like, where is the energy going? Because that's where your gaze should be. Okay, so let's practice it again. So focusing on your gaze, maybe on your head lifting up, as they're kind of related, okay? We're gonna be looking over our right arm. We're gonna circle, we're still looking straight ahead, and then we're gonna look kind of over our left elbow. And then as we strike, we're turning and looking. And then our arm and leg line up and we're looking, our head is still lifted. And remember here, the hand is in front of your hip, okay? We're not too far in front, but we don't want to end up back, okay? We still want to have that hug a tree kind of thing going on here. So our hands in front of our hip. Great. Looks good from what I see.
Do it again, do it again.
Okay, this is it, right? Everything in life is practice. The more you do something, the easier it will become, okay? So Kelly, do you mind if I spotlight you for a moment so I can watch everyone? Okay, so I'm gonna spotlight Kelly so that she can do the demonstration. Okay, so we're gonna start at repulse monkey and choose whatever variation feels good for you, okay? So we're gonna shift back our weight, circling our arms, and then we're gonna step out when the arms close. And then we turn and rotate off our back heel, opening our arms. That was good. Okay, let's do it one more time, Kelly. It was so good to see everyone do this movement because this is a really hard movement. I want to see what everyone's struggling with, okay? Or what everyone's doing really well. So starting at repulse monkey, shift your weight back, circle the arms. If you'd like, take the variation of stepping, step out, arms close, open up, and show striking. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's talk about a couple of things because it actually looks really, really good. Okay. Just one thing that I'm noticing is it is kind of hard with where your left hand ends up, okay? So we don't want to have too much tension. We don't want to have too much bend, okay? So everyone put your arms down. Like you're sitting them on a table, okay? Have that space in the armpits, so we don't want to have them too close, okay? We want to have that nice open feeling, okay? Yes. This is what we're going for every time our palm is facing down, okay? So if it's brush knee, we have one arm out and the other arm sitting. Okay, if it's white crane, the one arm's overhead, the other one's sitting. If it's diagonal flying, it comes a little bit in front and this arm's up. Does everyone understand now? Did you feel?
So it doesn't bend more to get in front. It just moves slightly forward.
It's all waist. Yeah, it's just slightly forward. It's not more bent. It's not like So if this was a brush knee, it would be on the other leg, but it would be the same thing.
Right.
Okay, it's literally in that same position. And I'm trying to find the similarities in my own practice when I do my daily practice to bring to you guys, because I do believe there's so many, okay? So we're not bending the arm more to bring it in, and we're not really pushing it down, okay? It's just that same sitting on a table, just like brush knee. But the difference is we have to come from our circling, right? And then we have to find that same feeling, that same end position.
So if we're turning our waist enough, the arm should go with it.
You got it. This movement is all about your waist turning.
Okay.
The waist turning is what's going to help with your balance. The waist turning is what's going to get you into the right position, because when we're doing this movement, my body is to the corner direction, right? I'm to this corner. I'm looking straight. As I'm circling, I'm coming to square, but now I'm open to this corner. And then I'm coming all the way to the third corner.
Beautiful.
That is a lot of movement, okay? So you have to think, there are different checkpoints of we're corner 1, corner 2, corner 3. This is a full half circle, okay? Let's do it again and let's think about that, okay? Just try to relax your arms into this movement. Focus on where your body is, your balance, okay? So we're here. If you don't want to do the arms and you just want to focus on your balance, feel free, okay? We're corner direction, head straight. We're circling our arms. I'm to the straight direction. I'm stepping out. I'm to the corner direction. I open up a little bit more and then I rotate to my third corner. Now, did that help?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest movements in the form, quite literally. Okay, we are going 180 degrees. Okay, Marion?
So when you are in your final pose and your feet are in a bow step, do your feet look like they're almost on the same line?
It should be shoulder width.
No, I mean like well, mine are shoulder width, but I mean like just square to my 12 o'clock. Would they be almost in the same?
Can you tell your camera down so I can see what you mean?
It's kind of hard.
Is that possible?
Yeah, hold on. Let me put it lower.
I'm not quite understanding what you mean.
My floor.
Now I can see your legs, so that will help a lot. I'm serious.
Okay, so when I come back, So my right foot that's about as far as I can get it, cornered.
That's fine.
So
So,
my feet don't look like they almost, like if I turn my right toe to 12 o'clock, it looks like they're almost at the same line on the
no, you should,
line.
oh, okay. Now I understand what you're saying.
But
Okay.
if I pull the leg back, if I pull the heel back, yeah, it's still, you
So
know,
yes,
shoulder width.
if there was a line here, it's not, I'm not exactly on the same line. Can you
Yeah.
see the difference of like, this is my corner stance? Like
Right.
my foot is following the tape direction and this foot's straight.
Yeah.
And they're almost on the same line this way. Now I understand what you're saying.
So I don't
But
need
if
to
they
worry
were,
about that is not like as big of a deal as it is making sure you have a bow step and it's
yes,
like,
but it is almost one line, Marion. You're correct. It's not one line. Like if it was one line, it would be like this. And if I turn this foot to corner,
yeah,
I'm in a really, really wide stance here. You can even see it. Okay.
yeah.
Let me do it from, let's see. Let's see. Okay, if I do it this way. So if I pick up, I step, I turn, okay? I turn my foot to the corner. Can you see both of my feet?
Yes.
Kind of, right? But you can. If I was on one line, it would be like this. Now you can only see really the front foot, right? So it is a little bit that it is on almost one line this way, but your front foot is more forward.
It is.
By half of a, yes, but not a lot. It's probably like half a shoe. Does that make sense? Like here, if I bring this foot over, can you see my feet?
Yeah, back up just a little bit towards your fireplace. Yeah.
So your right
Okay,
foot
so
is
if,
actually more forward than your left.
yes,
Doing it correctly. Okay.
let's see.
I was doing it, basically mine was behind. Forward.
Well, so your right foot should be in front of your left foot when you end,
But how do
okay?
you step
So,
behind? But how do you step behind your other leg? Step behind, then turn, and
so there's about, I don't know, 10 inches between my feet here in this position. And then when I turn,
okay. So when you say
that's
step
when,
behind,
and if I,
when you say step behind your back, your first foot, you don't mean like behind your back behind. You just mean in a sort of as like kind of in a direct line behind you. Does that make
yeah, it's behind, but it's to the corner. Okay. So
okay.
see the line here. So if I stepped with my front foot on this line,
Yeah.
okay, and I was in my empty stance, when I step behind and I turn this foot, see how my right foot is not on the tape line?
Yeah, I see
The
that.
tape line is here.
Right.
Because what happens is
okay, so right
then
there.
I'm shoulder width.
But is your right foot ahead of your left foot if you were looking at 90?
By half a shoe. Yeah, if I'm looking this way.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Half a shoe.
And that's
what gives you the shoulder width, right? Because if I turn my back foot to the corner, can you see how it's right on the tape line and then I'm shoulder width?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Does that help? It's so hard. I know this movement in particular, because of the camera angle and not being in person, is so hard to learn, especially for new people. So give yourself a break on this one. You know, you guys are doing amazing.
Thank you,
very,
Cheryl.
very difficult.
Thanks for the
Okay.
help.
Any other question? You're welcome. I love these questions and I love trying to find a way to help you guys understand what is going on in three-dimensional space here because it's so difficult, okay? So do we feel a little bit better about this movement? We'll go over it again next week because what happens next week is that we actually have a bit of repeat movement. So after all of the struggle of today, next week is going to be awesome because we get to go into repeat movement, okay? We get to go back to raise hands and step forward, white crane spreads its wing, and brush knee and push, okay? So be excited because next week is gonna be a lot easier. If we have time, we'll get into a new movement called needle at sea bottom, but I'll probably focus on just getting you guys to feel more comfortable with diagonal flying, okay? So any questions before we practice one more time? Because we're running out of time here. So any more questions about this movement?
Yeah, Cheryl, I had a question.
Yes.
Okay, on that final movement with the hand extended, do we want it just slightly bent, or do you want it more straight and like the joint is more locked?
So I'm hypermobile. So my straight, when I lock it, you can see it's got a weird funky angle. So you want a little bit of bend, but you don't want, like, locked for everyone is probably more here. Locked for me is the opposite direction. But we don't want to have too much bend, right? So we don't want to have a straight line from the shoulder and then have this angle going up. We want to have one nice line and the fingertips are eye level-ish.
Okay, okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
That looks really good, everyone. Yep, because no one's doing this. That's why I'm really happy to see that. Everyone's got a nice line with their palm all the way through. Yes, that is beautiful. Okay, let's just practice diagonal flying one time, and then we're gonna put it all together, okay? I'm gonna do the modified version. For the new people, for people who have knee injuries like me, this is an intense one, okay? If you wanna do the full movement, the full version, feel free, okay? You might get there a moment before us, okay? So starting in our repulse monkey, left foot's corner direction, right foot's ahead, right palm striking out. We're gonna shift back our weight as we circle our arms. We're gonna step behind us, turn our left foot to straight. We have our arms circled. We're gonna step out, and then we're gonna turn and open up the arms. How'd we do?
Thank you for the modification.
Good, good. It's a really good one, okay? All right, so let's practice the whole thing from cross hands through to diagonal flying, just to link it together to get that full practice in again. We did a lot of still holding, breaking things down, okay? Let's just put it all together, and then next week, rejoice for repeat movement. All right, so from cross hands, right arms on the outside, embrace tiger, return to the mountain, separating the arms, step, open up, strike, roll back, press, and push. Fist under elbow, transitioning like single whip, pushing out, warding off, re-step, making a fist, punching, lifting, empty stance. Repulse monkey. Step back, one arm forward, one back. Circle, pushing off the heel. One more time. Hands in front of the shoulder when we step, pushing off the heel. Move back the weight, circle the arms, step out, open up, and turning, showing, striking. Okay. All right. That was great practice today, everyone. So this week, mess around with both versions, okay? If you feel any sort of pain at all, revert to the modified version. No shame. It's there for a reason. I've been doing it recently as well, okay? Really. Take care of your body. It'll work with you for the long haul, okay? Everyone have a great week. And if you have some time, do a couple of those stretches and let me know how your practice goes next week, okay? Thank you for joining me.
Thank you,
Thank
Cheryl.
you.
Thank you.
Great
Stay away
class.
from those surfboards.
This one was a skateboard.
Oh,
Thank you, Cheryl. That was good
Thank you,
practice.
Sharon.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl.